All right, everybody. Scott Pierce here with Yi Gong at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yi, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How's everyone else doing today?
I hope everybody is doing good. Everybody, go ahead and type in where you're coming in from. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and comment to make sure you're sharing these live calls with other people in your networks and other agents that you know in your office, people that you like. Don't share with people you don't like, obviously. But today, we're going to be talking about lead follow up, kind of like the first 7 to 14 days. We've had some great conversations with clients lately, and in particular, last night. Anybody here catch the Gordon Day call last night we had with him? That was absolutely fabulous. The really cool thing was with that call last night with Gordon, he was not even scheduled to be on that call until about a half hour beforehand. He sent me a text and he goes, Scott, are you doing a live call tonight? And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, great. I'm going to be on it. I was like, okay, great. Go ahead and, get on it. And then about 5 minutes later, I was like, do you want to actually be on the call? Like, do you want to be a panelist on the call? And it took him like 5 minutes to respond. And I was like, literally, he didn't respond for a while. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's too
wow.
bad. Like, it would have been kind of cool to have him on the call. But maybe 15 to 20 minutes beforehand, he goes, sure, I'll be on the call. So that
That was
call last night
fantastic.
was so
Yeah,
unscripted. Like it
yeah.
was literally, there was nothing about that call that was scripted at all. So he got on it, right? We got on about 2 minutes beforehand. And I'm telling you all, I put the link to that call at the top of this. We're going to talk through it. I would love to be able to play some of it. He dropped so many beautiful comments that we're going to paraphrase. We're going to talk through some of the stuff we went with Craig Johnson as well. But I got this post up in the mastermind group because this relates to lead follow up. And I think a lot of us in this business go through this. So let me just kind of paraphrase what he said.
Hmm.
In the mastermind group from Gordon Day, he has been in the business for decades. All right. I met him in 2009. He'd already been a broker at that point. So I don't know what year he got in, but he's been in the business for decades. And he says here in the post that he was going to give up real estate this year if he didn't start enjoying it. So he's at that point. I think a lot of you are probably at this point. We probably go in and out of this throughout our career. We're just like, God, this is miserable, right?
Right. Is this right for me? You
Yeah,
start to wonder. Yeah.
yeah, totally. I mean, and I totally get it. Uh, and he says, soon after that decision, I mean, this is if the Lord is not speaking, I don't know who is. Uh, so he says, soon after that decision, that he reconnected with me, and he's been in and out of listening to leads. I mean, he was not a client of ours for God, probably 8 years. For 8 years, he did not use listening to leads, and so he came back in. I think at the end of last year, he was using, and this is all relates to follow up. So trust me when I say we are on point, even though it feels like we're not. But I think that's the problem. So again, let's get back to this. So he decided listening to leads would be his lead gen platform, and that I'll share kind of how that came to be. He canceled thousands of dollars of other programs. So he canceled one of the top website vendors out there, one of the ones that does a big job with Google, right? Very expensive. He canceled a super expensive follow-up program, CRM type of thing that's owned by one of the large real estate websites. He canceled a couple of mailing providers. He canceled a data provider. The guy canceled like 5 or 6 programs that were costing him over 2,000, over 4,000 a month. Over
Oh,
4,000 a month. Yeah. I mean, the website companies is like 2,500 alone.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they don't drive traffic to the
Well, if
country.
you pay, yeah. The email thing, follow up, whatever, that couple of $100 right there. The mailing service was a couple of $100. I mean, these are all right. And as he says right here, who are promising to deliver me the best leads. Right, we've all heard that before, right? The best leads. They say the best leads, but then they remind you, well, you still have to follow up with them, right? There are
It's
no
your
best,
fault. It's your own fault. We did deliver the best leads. You just didn't follow up.
and
It's not
and
our
and
fault.
and you paid for that, and that's going to
Right.
get a lot into this right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he says this has been the best decision he's made in years. And so we generated 152 leads in May, 22 as of June 4th, spending 125 bucks a week. Some of you are spending that and you're not getting much in return at all. And he's got the leads flowing. Now he's using Lofty. So you can be using KV Core. In fact, there's another post a little bit further down here from, oh my God. Anyway, let me see. Hold on. Anthony Labella. Anthony, if you're on the call here, Anthony, he's got the leads going into KV Core. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's just stay with Core. Oh, it's actually above. So Anthony's talking about the leads going into KV Core. So that's awesome. So we know, obviously, we want the leads going to where they need to. Here we go. Having more conversations than ever. My pipeline is growing fast with leads that are closing buyers and sellers. Now, what he didn't say here, which I will definitely mention, is he's doing open houses. So my contention is if you market and advertise listings every single week, like I've said this for months and months and months. If you advertise listings and you do it the right way and you put enough money behind it and you do open houses, that combination is going to dramatically increase your pipeline, grow your business. And within a couple of months, you're going to go from where he was at, where he was literally, and I remember, man, when we first started talking together,
Yeah.
in kind of like end of February, maybe we started talking after he came back into the program.
Yeah.
For a couple of months, man, he was not excited, right? Just not exciting. You could,
Yeah.
I didn't really notice it until a little bit later. I could tell that, he just wasn't excited about the business. At first, I was just like, whatever. But what I really noticed was when he started filling up that pipeline, when he started being able to follow up with leads, having conversations, which what we're going to talk about today. And he was having great conversations. He was talking to people that wanted to list and sell their home. He's talking to people that leads were coming in and they wanted to buy a home. They had a home to sell. And I still remember that week. And I said this last night on the call. I could see the change within that day. I still remember the conversation we had where I was like, dude, for the first time, you're happy. I could
Yes.
see he had joy
Yeah.
and he was smiling and he had the energy about him. And I commented on it and he's like, dude, he goes, the leads are coming in. The cost per lead is coming in. Between the time we started working together and that conversation, he'd already canceled most of these programs. Not only were they wasting his money, they were wasting his time and his energy. I mean, he was putting so much time into all of these programs and, doing different things. And, hey, there is a place for a lot of this. I'm not saying, some of these programs don't have a place in your business, but where he was at, he just wanted to fill the pipeline. He wanted to get conversations and he wanted to start helping
Close some
people
deals.
listen. Pardon me?
She just wanted to close some deals.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, when you think about, let's just say exercising or eating or something like that, right? You got your core food, you got your core exercises, then you got all the other nice things, right? You got your appetizer, maybe you got your dessert, you got your third, whatever. But it's that main course that if you don't have that main course, nothing else really matters, right? Same thing with exercising, same thing with everything else in life. If you don't have that core, which is, am I generating enough leads? And here's the thing, at a good price. I don't want to spend $500 and get leads in at $10 each and go broke, because even a great real estate lead is not going to close within 60 to 90 days, right? The best real estate leads are not going to close in under 30 to 60 minimum.
Right. Makes sense.
Right. I've talked to clients and they'll do an open house ad and they'll say, hey, I ran an open house ad and, I got a lead. I talked to them and they're a buyer and they want to go buy. Well, they got to find a house. And then you're going to be negotiating. Then you got to have the escrow. And so best, you're looking at 60 days. And if when you keep running, or doing these programs, you got all these other programs out there, you're going to go broke before, and he wasn't going broke, but it's like, listen, if I'm spending three to four to $5,000 a month and I'm not getting conversations that are leading to business, all right. And again, this is all the follow up is for sure a part of this. And he said this last night. Uh, you know, you're going to be so stressed out because you are not generating enough leads, you're not generating enough conversations, and so your follow up is being affected by that. And so, I just really wanted to show this. I put a link into the chat panel. If you go to our blog, listingstoleads.com/blog, you will, maybe the third or fourth post down, you're going to see this. And I really should rephrase it, because if you scroll down, this call right here, this is a call. Let me click it. The audio is off. Perfect. So this is with Craig Johnson. We talk about lead generation and we talk about follow-up. He talks about the follow-up that he does. We'll talk about that in this call here as well. And if you scroll down to the next video, this is the one that we had last night with Gordon. Let me just mute it. And in this one, right at about 42 minutes, this is pure gold. This right here, and this is, we're going to spend some time on this part of it today. If you later, after you get off this call today, go to the link I gave you. If you're watching a recording of this down the road, go to listingstoleads.com/blog, find that blog post, come down, watch the Craig Johnson video. That was amazing. Craig Johnson, phenomenal. And then check this one out. The whole video, I highly recommend, but start at 42 minutes. That's where he was talking about the woman screaming at him. Remember that last night?
Yeah, I do.
He goes, yeah, he's like, oh my God, she was screaming at me. And how did he turn it around? Well, he shares it right in that video. And so here's the deal. Oh, one more thing before we get into it.
Can I ask? Go ahead.
Yeah, let me real quickly. You remember that guy last night, Matthew Driscoll? Matthew, you here? If Matthew Driscoll is here, Matthew was saying, hey, when I do my open houses, I take that video from Listing to Leads, the 100-point home marketing plan video, and I put it on the TV. And so that way, as people are walking through, in particular homeowners, they can see my video about how I get homes sold. So this video is in your Listings to Leads account. It's in the media library. If you search under videos from L to L, just put in 100, you'll find this video. And in this YouTube video, I walk you through, I download it, upload it to YouTube, and then I put it on. Then at the open house, I just turn on YouTube, put the video on, and just let that video loop while I'm at the open house. I mean, how cool is that?
Oh, that's very, very smart.
Right. Because last night we were talking, it was so funny. Last night, I kept thinking, like, how did he get that video up on YouTube or up on the TV? And then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, oh, well, TVs have YouTube. And here's the thing. That video on your YouTube channel is gold anyways, right? I want people to be able to find that video on my, if you're doing YouTube and you got all your great area videos, you got your client review videos, you got videos about how you do your business, you want that video from Listings to Leads in there. And, since we're here real quick, just give me like 30 seconds. I'll show you. If you go to the media library, you will see, if my internet is working, let me have a little drink of Diet Coke while I'm waiting. It will put you under media from L to L by default. And it's this video right here. Type in 100 into the search box if it's not here. And all you have to do is just download it, right? So click the download button. It'll download to your computer. Go to YouTube, upload it to your channel. And then when you're at your next open house, put that puppy on the TV. How awesome is that? Yeah?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about follow-up. Now, we don't have a lot of slides for the follow-up.
Before you go in talking
Yeah.
about it, can all you guys put in the chat box, what's your biggest fear when you're following up with leads? I would love to see that.
Yeah. Neil, I'm sorry. Neil says, Scott, you mentioned about when you find out if they own a home, you had a message you sent. Yeah. Neil, what do you mean again? So, in fact, I'm going to show that. So I went to, so one of the things, and we'll get to the more particular follow-up stuff here in a minute. But one of the things that, in fact, Gordon said he does this as well. This is a fake lead. I actually changed the phone number. I changed the email address. I changed the name. But when you get leads coming into listings to leads, so Gordon, he's got all of his leads going right into Lofty, but still in listings to leads. I don't know if Lofty maybe doesn't have this or what, but a couple of things. One is he has AI text follow-up from Lofty. We have it in listings to leads as well. I'll show you where to sign up for that a little bit later. But you'll see it in your account. In fact, when you do a Facebook ad, you'll be able to sign up for the AI text follow-up. Highly recommend it. We just did a massive update to it. And that is I think that's one of the first things is have an AI text follow-up handy or activated so that when you're busy and you're doing things, let the AI text initiate conversations, keep those conversations going. Gordon said, and I think Craig is doing the same thing. Yi, I think you're talking about this as well, that
Yeah,
let the
absolutely.
AI text keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be doing your follow-up, and we'll talk about the follow-up in a little bit here, but keep both going until you connect with them. And then once you connect with that lead, in listings to leads here, you're going to see, I can turn it off right here. So once I connect with this fake person, I can click off, already in communication or unqualified. So I can just check either way. I'll say already in conversation. And so now that lead will not get any more AI text. So we don't want, we don't want to overwhelm people after we're in conversation with them. But per Gordon, per Craig, and others that I've talked to, let both go on until you connect with them. And then again, once you connect with that lead, come into listings to leads right here, turn that off. One of the other things on the lead detail page, there is a more button. You can search email on Google. You can search phone on Google. A really cool thing about this is, Gordon said last night, you'll watch the video later. I hope. I highly recommend watching both of those videos. 75% of the phone numbers are good, but let's just say you don't have a good phone number. Usually you'll have at least a good email address, usually, and I can go right here. Now, again, I changed the email address so it's a fake email. So I'm going to click search email on Google, and it will search the email, and you will typically see a bunch of returns here. And oftentimes you're going to find, oh, here's a person, here's their email, here's the phone number, and sometimes here's the address. So you'll literally, it'll show you the address. And again, I'm going to do more search phone on Google. Now, again, this is a fake phone number. I changed the phone number, and you can even see, right? The area code is 969168.
160.
That's obviously fake. Just because it's not cool to be showing people's
Yeah.
private information. So, but again,
You know
here,
what's
yeah,
crazy? I did not get one bad phone number.
yeah,
It's not one bad phone number at all. There's one landline. So the AI
yeah,
text follow-up will tell you, oh, this is a landline. We cannot initiate text AI follow-up.
yeah.
So overall, it's
Neil.
really good.
So Neil, that's an awesome question. We allowed it in the beginning. It was so awful for old leads because old leads would be like, who the hell are you? Like, and it was 100% unqualified. Every person that got, the AI text would just unqualify. So it was like so bad that I just couldn't consciously, or what's the word,
Implement.
well, I just didn't, there's no way as a vendor I could put that on people knowing that everyone that had tried it just failed miserably with
Yeah,
it.
right.
Thank goodness they all had half off. And so it was fine. And I apologize, but I'm like, no more. I got a couple of people that now we did a massive update where the conversations now with AI text are offering a free list of open houses, free list of price reduced homes for sale.
Ooh.
Have you been pre-qualified yet? Would you like a PDF guide? Would you like my guide on, 5 dangers of overpricing your home for seller lead? Or how to buy a home in any, so all the PDF guides that we've got, all the different kind of real estate offers. So that has now been integrated into our AI text follow-up. So I'm thinking we're going to get a lot. We've already got a great, it's
We got
10%.
great conversion, over 10, like 11%, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
which is great. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is not bad at all.
right.
To me, that's not great. Industry-wide,
Yeah,
that's totally
Scott's
fine.
a
Yeah, that's totally fine.
perfectionist.
I want 25%. And so I'm hoping that we're going to get a lot higher. So Neil, long story short, my point is, I'm going to implement for a couple of accounts. If you want in on that, let me know. Ping me later if you want in on that, and I can see if we can activate yours for your old leads. Again, I'm not promising anything. And in the past, the old leads were just miserable failures on all of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah. With that said, let's get back into. Oh, well, all right, yeah. One more thing here. So for lead follow up, let's say we did that. We did the more, and we found out that this person owns a home. This is really cool. So you see how it says there's no add address, or there's no address here? If you go add address, and I add in an address, so I'm going to add in, I find out that they live at 121
Tomlinson
Tomlinson
Drive.
Drive. All right, so I'm going to add that. I'm going to hit save. Now watch what happens. Now their address is there, and there's a new thing. It says home valuation. I can click on that, and now I've got their home value, right? This is just like as if they filled out the what is your home worth landing page. If I click email, I can now email her a home value estimate. Now, how you're going to use this, like, are you going to send it to her or them, the person? Are you going to send it to them before you talk to them? Do you want to send, and you can edit it. You can send a test email, so I can edit this before, maybe I want to put in something like, you know, if you need to sell your home before buying, I thought I'm just absolutely making this up on the spot. So don't do this as if I'm telling you this is a great thing to type, but I'm just saying you can
You can
add text.
edit it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you could send it to them. So that's really cool. I think we're good here. Any more questions on the lead detail page? So the things I wanted to show you here was when you get leads coming in, I
Mhm.
would go to the more, and you can use another service if you got another service, confirm their email. And even if you get a good email, do this because, again, you might find out where they work. You might find out where they live. And then you can look up where they live, see if they own it. And so try that with both email and phone. If you got AI text activated and you've connected with them, come in here and turn this off. And if and when you do find out where they live and they own, well, you can put it in as mark it as renter. So you can add the address no matter what and just mark as renter or owner. And if they own, you'll get the home valuation option to where you can send them a home value estimate. Randall, yes. So thank you for that. Sometimes I get so far afield. The other thing I would highly recommend is our follow-ups are actually really good. You can either activate them from within listings to leads. We've also had clients take these, copy and paste them into their own CRM. But I think Craig Johnson sent me, and I've had numerous clients do this, over 80% deliverability through listings to leads because our
Actually,
email reputation is so good.
it's more than 90% delivery.
Is that over 90%
Yeah.
deliverability?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The email
Uh,
address is really good.
yeah. The open rates are really, really good. The click rates are good. And so all you have to do is when you get in here, you're going to see these are both in the off position. All you have to do is turn them on. Now, the first time you do it, you're going to have a little pop up and it's going to say something like, oh, there we go. So say, if you have multiple emails, which email do you want it to come from? Which list? And in the beginning, it'll just be buyer leads, right? So because you can also add custom campaigns and listings to leads. Send to existing contacts. All right. Make campaign recurring. Hit save. All right. I'm going to close that. Same thing with the seller. So I would turn this on if you don't have another CRM. Now, if you got another CRM, go to your profile. In fact, we should talk about that because that's part of follow-up. So let's do
Right.
that. Let's go to your profile. Because like I said, Gordon is sending everything to Lofty. Anthony Labella is sending everything to KV Core. So here, CRM integration. And then we're going to get into the phone calls. We're going to get into things that you talk about. We're going to get into what you do when people yell at you. We're going to talk about some ridiculous option or things. So under CRM integration right here, right? Boomtown,
Mhm.
Brivity, Lofty, Follow Up Boss, right? KV Core, Jar Jar, KW Command, Lion Desk. God, do you guys hear Lion Desk is being shut down? Who bought Lion Desk? Lone Wolf?
Lone Wolf, yeah.
Yeah, they're shutting it down, which is crazy. Moxie Works, a lot of Colo Banker people, right, using Moxie Works. Real Geek, Sierra, Thanks.io, Top Producer, Wise Agent. We've also got Zapier and Go High Level. So if you're using Go High Level, you're going to want to use Zapier with Lead Connector. So that's the Zap right there. Boom, bada bing. Just kind of do your thing. All right. Set that up. And API Nation. So here, find what you're using. There's Lead Connector there. There's Real Geeks, what have you. MailChimp, for example, right? You can do that and get that connected. And lastly, if your CRM is not listed here, you don't want to use Zapier, you don't want to use API Nation. Most CRMs have what's called a lead forwarding email address. You
Mhm.
can add that right here. So just add it right there, click save, and get those leads. Now, the other thing with follow-up that's really important, and Brian Matheson came in the other day to the mastermind group, tags. So now you
Mm.
leave in the profile. I should have looked at this beforehand, but I believe there are account settings for like all listings, landing pages, and so on. But let me just show you at the listing level. If I go to market listing and edit, I'm sorry, let me back up. If I click edit, all right, so edit right here, and you've got tags. So I can say buyer, oh, listing, right? Maybe the agent name if I got different agents on my team. So I can add whatever tags I need right there. Click save, and then that way we'll pass all the tags along. One of the really great things that Gordon shared was that, he doesn't even log into listings to leads to look at the leads, barely. Right now it was funny though, because he said he uses that more button all the time because he likes to look up all that stuff.
Mhm.
But he says, as far as uh, the leads and responding, the leads go right into Lofty. Hopefully, they should go into your CRM. Everything should be there. And he says that AI gets triggered and gets started right away, and he gets the notification, and he's just calling, right? He's just calling them up, which was beautiful because that's what you want. You don't want to have to, dink around, trying to figure out where things are at. You want it to get to where you need it. Now that can be in listings to leads. So if you're using listings to leads for that, awesome. If that's what's working for you. But if you need it in your CRM, make sure it's getting there. Make sure it's set up properly. Let us know if it's not, because being able to get the data where you need it, the lead contact where you need it, goes a long way to help with lead follow up.
Can
So
There are
yeah, go ahead.
probably some agents who are new here. Can you explain to them what do the tags do?
What did tags do?
Yeah.
Well, they just help categorize so that when a lead comes in, if it's tagged with an agent name, for example, let's say you got different agents on your team, depending on your CRM, that can help route it. That can
Okay.
help categorize, and you can filter. Now I can filter my leads. I can say, who are all my buyer leads? Who are all the leads that came in off of a listing? Who are all the leads? Let's say I want to tag it with the city. Well, the city I can usually filter through that, but it just allows for better filtering and better organization.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, great question. Great question. To be honest, that was something I was really awful with for a long, long time.
Because you're so familiar with the system, you just don't think
Yeah, I
people
know.
can. Yeah.
I know.
So
Well, that's why this kind of a call is really good because, we focus on lead generation, but, and so let's talk about lead follow-up.
yeah.
And let's go back here. So at this page right here, at this blog post, you have those two videos, right, that are down. And so one of the first things about follow-up is, and Gordon said this last night, and Craig talks about this as well, is so Gordon, he will call the lead every single day for 7 days. All right. He books 90 minutes in the morning. In fact, you asked him what time he does it. And I think he said 9 or
9, starts at 9, 9 to
so.
10:30. He
Yep.
takes a 30-minute break,
Yep.
then he does another 60 minutes.
Right. Yep.
Now he has so many leads, so
Well, here's the thing. So you'll hear people, and I've heard people, coaches or whatever you want to call it, vendors or
yeah,
people, right? They're like, well, you got to call and text and email 3 times a day for 30 days. And holy crap, I tell you, if you start calling me 3 times a day, by day number 3, I'm going to, dude, get out of here. I'm going to
right,
file a restraining order against you at some
right.
point, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Gordon said in the video last night, and you'll watch it later, I don't have to keep calling after 7 days because I got so many leads coming in from spending $125 a week on my ads that I
Mhm.
don't need to hound them to
Trust
death.
them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to, essentially get the cops called on
Mhm.
me because I won't leave them alone day and night, right? With texting and calling and emailing and, smoke signals and driving by and knocking on, he's like, I don't need to do that because by running the ads consistently and spending enough money on them, I get new leads coming in all the time. And he goes, uh, right here in that post, right in the post, or no, last night in the video, I'm sorry, last night in the video, he goes, even today, I had multiple conversations with leads generated today. So
Oh, yeah, wow.
yeah, no, he said that last night in the video. He
Yeah,
goes, I'm having conversations with people. And so let's get on when we asked him, like, what does he say? So remember you asked him, you said, so let's say you call me up. What are you going to say? Do you remember what he said?
I think he mentioned about, "Thank you for" give me a second.
Oh my God.
I remember. See, this is exactly what happens when you try to do lead follow-up. You're not ready. You try to, like,
Right.
make that
Right.
call. That's
You're
exactly
on the
what I'm
spot.
at. Like,
So he
everybody
calls him
else is
up.
on the call. Yeah, like,
Yeah, so he calls him up and he just says, "Hey, this is
"Thank you."
Gordon Day with LPT Realty, and I see that you're looking at the listing at 522 Belmont Street. Is that a property? Would you like to schedule a showing or get more information about the property?" And he said, and again, this is all in the video. So later on, but I'm giving you a bigger picture. I'm going to bring some other things into it, but I want you to hear him talk about this.
Mhm.
And he goes, normally they'll say no, I'm not interested in that listing, whatever it is. And then he'll say, that's great. He goes, I have a lot of other listings. Are you looking to be in more downtown or on the west side or the north side or whatever it is? And he'll just let them talk. And sometimes they don't want to talk. And that's fine because, like I said, he's getting enough leads coming in.
Mhm.
But he shows empathy. In fact, one of the things he said was, uh, when like people get mad. In fact, he had one person screaming at him, right?
Right.
I'm not going to buy a house, and why are you calling me? And he's like, she was literally screaming. And you know what he said? Do you remember what he said to that one?
I'm only trying to help.
Yeah, he goes, I'm only trying to help,
Yeah.
and that was it. He goes, you're on my website, and I'm just trying to help. And he said she went from 100 miles an hour to full stop because he didn't get defensive. He didn't hang up. He didn't
Right.
yell back at her. He was very calm, right? Which I thought was phenomenal. And he's just like, listen, I saw that you'd filled out a lead, or you filled out something about one of the property on Belmont, and I'm just here to help. And she's now a buyer lead. She's got she's
She
doing
has
some stuff in her
something to
life.
sell as well, right?
I can't remember if she was one of the ones looking to sell those. He's got a few people from the
Yeah.
ads that we're doing that are both buyer and seller leads for sure. Um, I can't remember if she was one of those or not, but yeah, she went from literally screaming at him. And here's the thing, because and this is part of follow up. This is
Mhm.
part of follow up. You have to generate enough leads so that your follow up is not so stressful that you know what I mean, that your commission breath, that you are dying because if you don't connect with this person, that's all you got. And so
Right.
you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you're doing the three by three
Jonesing.
by three,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God, kill me now. You know, and if you do it to me, I'm gonna want to kill you. All right. We know what I'm just joking.
Literally. Yeah.
Figuratively. There you go, figuratively.
Figuratively, not
So,
literally.
but that's what happens when you're spending $35 a week on ads or $50 a week on ads. You're
Mhm.
spending too little money so that the leads you are getting are too few. And so
Yeah.
you're pushing them,
You're
right? You're
pushing
trying
it.
to get all the
Yeah.
juice out of them that you can. And what happens? Everything just breaks. People
Yeah.
don't want to listen to you. They don't want to hear from you. You worn out your welcome because you kept bothering them every day and night, 3 times a day with phone, 3 times a day with text.
And
All right,
and
30
what it
days.
yeah, and when you finally got a good lead, they're having a good conversation with you, you might just flip because of all the pressure that was on you.
Yeah. Well, you just gotta be cool, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that was
really
the thing that
pushy.
Gordon said was, so, now this was another really cool thing is you said, when do you call him?" And he says, or how was that phrase? Like, you're like, "Well, when do you call him?" And he goes, "When I talk to him." And by that he meant when he's able to get a hold of somebody, he notes the time and he tries
Oh,
to make
yeah.
sure that every time thereafter, he'll try to call around the same time until he's told otherwise. Because then he'll know, well, hey, they answered the phone at 10:30 in the morning, or so he goes, what was it, 9 to 10:30,
9
and
to
then
10
11 to
10:30,
12,
that's when he makes the calls, yeah.
and then 11 to 12. So
Yeah.
he'll take a break, which is cool, and that only came up because I asked him, I was like, "Dude, like, sometimes you're doing your calls and, you almost zone out, and you're like, 'I'm calling, I'm calling, I'm calling, I'm calling,' right? And all of a sudden, I'm talking, and I realize, 'Oh, shit, I'm on the phone with somebody,' because you're just, like, zoning out. You're droned." So he goes, "I call for 90 minutes." The cool thing about Gordon is he was a Ricky Carruth, and I think he still might be. And if you guys know Ricky Carruth, that man is an animal in the best possible way. That guy's got so much energy. He is so good. So it's awesome that Gordon has that background. So, when he's sharing with us about lead follow up, it's like, listen, the biggest problem that most people have is they just have too few leads and they're so
Mm.
stressed that it becomes uncomfortable with people. So, and there's nothing, he's like, I don't say anything. Sometimes he'll say, sometimes I just call him up and I'll just say, "Hey, it's a beautiful day out today. Hey, this is Gordon from LPT Realty. It is a gorgeous day today." And they'll say, "Yeah," they'll respond back, and then he'll get into, "I see that you're looking at the property on 522 Belmont Street. Did you want to take a look at the property or get more information about it?" And again, 90% of the time they say no. Then he'll ask about other areas. He won't get into other properties, won't get into pre-qualification. And you brought this up last night, just have a conversation.
Yeah, just be yourself, honestly, and you listen to them, you're gonna find some good report,
Well, here's the thing.
whatever that's interesting. Yeah.
Don't be yourself if yourself is normally trying to convert them. In fact, he literally said, "Don't try to convert them. Have a
Yeah,
conversation.
have conversations, absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
find where you can have a conversation." And I would almost say in the beginning, the quicker I can get off real estate, the better. The quicker
Yeah,
I can talk about football, I'm not a football fan, whatever, but whatever it is, the quicker I can talk about something else, and we start having, like, and then they say kind of something back like, hey, maybe hey, the Main Street Festival is this weekend. It's going to be blocking a lot of traffic, but it should be a lot of fun. And they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to be going down there." And then you might come back with, "Yeah, the family is going to be going down. That should be a lot of fun." You right there, you got rapport. And that
yeah,
is so much better than you sitting there going, "Are you pre-qualified?" What's
Yeah,
your
all
price
these
range?
questions. Yeah. Nobody
Yeah,
wanna hear that, especially the first conversation.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want you to share. Oh my God, it's already 40 minutes into it. So, Craig Johnson, let's talk about Craig for just 2 or 3 minutes because I love what he does. Craig Johnson, he will send a video text message from his phone, just from his phone, pulls out his phone, has the phone number, and he'll just say, "Hey, this is Craig Johnson with Canopy Mortgage, and you inquired on 522 Belmont, and it's a great property." Similar to what Gordon does, right?
Yeah, I do wanna confirm with Craig, like, when does he send a video message? Is that after the lead engage with him or right after the AI text bot engagement? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, no,
when
no.
when
So,
exactly?
no. So Craig does the AI text follow up,
Yeah,
but he
okay.
also does the lead, the video text message right away, also.
Right away?
Yeah,
Okay.
or as quickly as possible. And then I think I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he turns off AI text right after he sends a video text message, or if he does like with what Gordon does, where he will do both until he connects. It's one or the other, and really, it doesn't matter which one, right? Is but as long as you turn off the AI text after you connect with them. So once you've made contact with that lead, turn off the AI text. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
wanna
yeah,
make yeah.
so for
I
those
do
who
want
don't know, Yi was a top producing mortgage broker. What year
in
did you
San
start?
Francisco. Oh,
I
I would
forget.
say
2020 or 2000?
2004 maybe.
2004. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
about right.
yeah,
So
like
Yi,
years.
Yi's background, she was a C you
I
got a
was a former
master's,
CPA.
you got a master's degree in
Okay,
accounting.
master. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. She's a former CPA, former auditor. Her stories, she did forensic auditing, which
For
is where you
Intel.
go
Yeah,
with people that got guns into foreign countries and you're going after embezzlers. Her stories, if you ever meet up with her, don't, she
I have
doesn't drink.
stories. Yeah.
She's got some crazy stories. Oh my God, it's nuts. But then she was a director of finance for 4 or 5 companies in Silicon Valley and San Francisco as well. Worked at Intel for like 5 years,
5
three or
years.
four
Yeah,
years as
5
well. So my point is her and so when she first got into mortgage, she didn't need lead gen. She just, the first couple of clients that she got, however you got them, I don't remember, but you were just getting clients and clients and clients. But now she's actually working with agents in our area. All right, so in our local area, advertising listings for them, and she's calling them up. And so what I want you to share, because the very first lead, you had a great conversation. You've had some phenomenal conversations since. I don't know if you've got mostly good phone numbers, I believe. So just go ahead and talk.
Okay, so I have never done cold calls in my life, okay? So complete green-handed. And what I learned is you gotta have your script. Okay, I don't care how you gotta write it down, you gotta memorize, you gotta practice. Okay, so that's number one. I don't care how you good at things and you think I'm gonna be able to say stuff. No. When you get on the phone, you're gonna just forget about everything. So make sure you practice the script. I did my first cut on the video text messaging. I did like 112, maybe 120 cuts. And I was locked up in my room, sweaty like a pig, and I was doing it. So, for those of you guys who like need to be really good at it, you got to practice and put time into it. So that's number one. Um, and make sure you really know the script, like I said. So look at the form that they filled out. Okay. So if they say, I'm going to buy 3 to 6 months, your script is going to reflect that, right? Because you want to relate to their story. So if they're like just dreaming, you want to have a script related to that. So it's important because that sounds so personal. They're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. How does she know all that? So it's makes it a little bit more engaging. And then once the AI text follow up start to engage with you, I turn that off right away. I try to write a personal text message to them right away. And I had one personal message. The guy was doing a VA loan of a landing page, and AI text follow up just engage with him. Then I decided to write him a personal text message because, I have ex-military family members. I feel like I want to say something. So I wrote a text message to him. And yesterday he
So,
said,
so,
I will
so,
call you
so real quickly, so you kind of relate into the,
to
that,
his personal story.
yeah,
Yeah. You
right.
got to find some common ground. Okay.
Yeah, if you
Whatever
can,
that
yeah,
is, if you
as
can.
quick as
I'm
you
not
can.
saying it's like happening every single
Yeah.
situation. But in this particular case, he responded to me yesterday. He's like, "I will call you back." I was like, "Yes!" Like I was so excited. But you gotta just my
Well,
lesson
then
is
you
you
had,
gotta yeah, go ahead.
well, so then you had how did you connect with that woman who wants to buy a farm? Remember that one woman? She was like the very
Oh,
first one.
so this one was an AI text conversation, and she's like, "I'm just dreaming," and then I say, "Oh, dreaming is great, but it's great to start planning, right?" The AI was kind of going through something. So she
Mm,
was saying she actually mentioned the price range on the AI text follow-up. So I
mm,
immediately turned off the text AI follow-up and I responded with her on a text message asking like what was she thinking? Then on the email, I sent her a USDA loan. Why? Because she's thinking about buying a farm and a USDA loan would be just perfect. So I sent her a PDF guide on
yeah.
USDA loan.
So keep in mind now these are leads coming off of listings. So these are listing lead. Well, actually that was a lead
That's a
off of,
lead coming off a listing. Yeah,
yeah, off of the one in
off the one. Yeah.
Sutter, California. So it's kind of a rural area, and so the AI
So she was
text is
looking,
engaging.
yeah, she's looking to buy something else.
Yeah,
So
she said she wanted to buy something where she could put a couple of cows.
yeah. I say, oh, I
I
love
thought that was so
cows.
cute.
So you just gotta
Yeah,
like have really personal conversations and make them feel comfortable.
yeah.
And yeah,
Now,
I
what do
think
you say? So what do you
yeah.
say to when Gordon says, "Don't have a script," but you can see, here's the thing:
What
script
you
or no script, you got to know what you're talking about, and I think that's what you're
exactly.
getting at.
You don't want to stutter. If you don't have a script, well, Gordon has been in the business for
Oh
decades.
God, yeah,
So
yeah.
he
He's
doesn't
got
need a script. For
right.
most of us, we do need a script. I'm just saying. So it's
Yeah.
up to you. I
Well,
learned my hard way.
yeah, I would say, have a script, but be prepared to just paraphrase it and jump off of it as
Yeah,
fast as possible.
totally.
Where, like we said, where you can, just relate to them. Uh, be ready to diffuse the situation, right? And by diffuse, I just mean, if they start yelling at you, so what? So what? You're calling them up. You're interrupting their day.
Right.
Even to that woman that started, and he's like, listen, and if you listen to it, you'll hear him say, she was screaming at me. And Gordon's got such a nice demeanor about him, and he's like, listen, I can tell you're having a bad day.
And also, it's important making sure your follow up like system is really good. I don't know whatever email you use, CRM, making sure it's all set up properly. Because when you do your first dialing, you want to like write all the notes. Like, okay, I called this person, left a message, like making sure all the notes are taken very detailed. So you can, when you do the second round, what did I do to this lead, right? So it makes it easier. That's why another thing, so tags are important because then you can organize the tags and then you can do whatever the follow-up actions you can do based on the tags. Just makes so
Right.
much more efficient. And one last thing I want, well, not one last thing. That's important. Like we know the results. We know people who've done this, right? 4 to 6 weeks, and you gotta give it time and you gotta do the follow-up. So you just
Yeah.
have
And,
to do it. And
yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
like yesterday,
Let's
I
get
see
back.
people's results. Is this like encourage everybody? Okay, it should encourage you. So I locked myself up and I did like all the calls all together within like 30 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, the first 7 days you got to do the calls. So just do it. You just have to do it.
Yeah. Don't be scared of calling them up. Have a script in your mind, but don't try to sit there. In fact, Gordon even said, he's like, don't sit there and start asking if they're pre-qualified. Don't. you got to connect with them first.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to lead with, hey, I saw that you're looking at the property at 522 Belmont. Would you like to get more information, or check that property out at some point? And he's like, obviously 90% of the time they're going to say no. And then he'll say, are you looking to go downtown or whatever? And then if he gets a little bit of negativity, and I love the way he says it, I'm just here to help. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to help.
I love that. That's like the best line.
If you say that with a nice tone, a nice fatherly tone, a nice motherly tone, right? Not defensive. I'm just here to help. But that's not how you do it. You got to, from
Yeah.
an empathetic place, from an empathetic
Mhm.
heart. I'm just here to help. And if you have enough leads coming in, that's why it gets back to, this right here where we're talking about, you've got to have enough leads coming in so that you're not feeling the stress or pressure from the fact that, I've only got 7 leads this week. Well, yeah, if you've only got 7 leads coming in per week, of course you're going to be, absolutely pounding every
All the
single lead
time.
that comes
Yeah.
through, and they're going to feel it. So, the most attractive people are the people that don't want you. We know,
Mhm.
we know how that is. It's that person that's, we don't go to bars anymore, but it's those people that are, running after you and da da da. It's so unattractive. That is so unattractive. Now we want to be professional. We want to make sure that they, because being unprofessional, right, not
Mm.
calling them is just as bad. But there's a fine line between harassment and follow up and being of help. In fact, don't even call it follow up. In fact, don't even call it follow up. You're
It's
here to
called
help.
helping. Yeah.
Somebody filled out a form, somebody did something, you've got their information, you know what it's relating to, you're here to help. Now, when you call, when you text, when you email people and they don't respond back, they're busy. They're not in the mood. All of us, we're in the same boat. I can be in and out of the mood to do something
Yeah.
multiple times I'm not in the mood to eat until like 1 in the afternoon typically. All right. I'm not in the mood to do something. And if you try to get me out to breakfast at 8 a.m., I'm not in the mood. All right. So when you call me and then you text me, I may not be in the mood. I don't know who you are, which is why I love the idea of the video text message that Craig talks about. But then when you do get me on the line, if you're going to sit there and try to pre-qualify me and go down this list of questions, I'm not in the mood for that either. So you better start learning how to connect of why you're calling. All right, we talked about that. And
Mm.
then you better connect with me and be of help. And you better let me know that you are here to help. All right. And if you got enough leads coming in, you can say that from a place of not being stressed, not transferring your stress
Yeah.
onto them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Tracy has a question.
Yeah, phenomenal question. Great question. So, Tracy, I have a question. Well, there we go. I thought about, so you cannot upload anything into listings to leads. Only leads that are generated from our tools can be used in our
Yes.
program. We are going to be allowing that at some point, but just not right now. But we don't share, we don't sell nothing. So your leads,
Are
your
your
leads,
leads? Yeah.
yeah, you know,
And they're not shared by anybody else, not like Zillow.
yeah, exactly right. So we're not, nobody has access to your leads. Now, if you have a broker account, but your broker's not going to stay. I've never in 15, 16 years, I've never heard of a broker doing anything weird. And I would have heard, right? Some agent would have told me, my God, my broker. No, I've never heard that. So you don't need to worry about that kind of stuff. All right.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
So let's say a broker sets up the account and they give agent their account. So is there any setting that they need to do that the leads go to the broker or go to the agent?
I'm sorry, repeat that question again.
Okay, so a broker has the broker account, right? The agent is under. So
Mhm.
the leads always go to the agent?
Yes,
Okay.
100%. Yeah. No, a broker, if you're a broker, even if you're a lender on this call and you want to run ads from your broker account, you can determine, do I want those leads to go to the agent or do I want them to go to, the office? All right. Now you're paying for them. So the agent's not paying for them. The agent has nothing to do with that. But lenders and brokers, and usually that would be done in a situation where the broker is going to uh, help follow up on behalf of the agent, because so many agents are bad at
No,
follow
they
up.
don't. Yeah.
It is, and lenders too. Typically, a lender, and like with what he does, is they will run. So they will run ads for the agent on their listing. They're paying for it, so the agent's not paying for it, and the lender's running the ad, and they're following up with the leads. But then once that lead is ready to talk to a realtor, well, then they're going to give that lead. They're going to let the realtor know, the realtor partner, the agent know that, hey, Scott Pierce is, we generated him as a lead a couple of months ago, and I've been following up, and now he's ready to talk, and then the agent can get involved at that point. So, all right, any question about what we're talking about? I see some good conversations going, but do we have anything related to what we're talking about with follow up or lead generation, right? So make sure this right here is everything. You got to spend enough money, because not only is it good for lead generation, right? And I talked about this before. When you spend too little money, your cost per lead typically fluctuates even more than normal. Facebook doesn't have a good track record for showing your ads to the right people. So I've noticed that the longer we go with Gordon, and I think probably the same thing with Craig and other clients that I've seen that are spending a lot of money every month, is they get better quality leads as they go through it, right? Because what happens is Facebook sees who's interacting and who's looking at them and everything. And when you're spending too little or you're inconsistent, it's like this. It's just it's all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're consistently spending, a minimum amount of money, which I think is about $125 a week, $500 a month, and I got people that spend $200 to $300 a week on one listing.
We
Because
know realtors love to spend money on other things, and I'm sure you can go back, look at all the other programs you can cut. That would probably be your marketing budget right there for Facebook.
well, yeah,
I'm sure you
yeah.
can
Where's
find
this right here? I can
$500 savings.
I cancel thousands of dollars a month for shiny object vendors who are promising to deliver the best leads.
I was just having a conversation with a realtor, I'm not gonna name names, and she was spending 500 a month on a WordPress website. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And here's the thing, yeah, do your short form video. I want you to use all the tools in listings to leads. So please, let me just say something here real quick. I am not talking about Facebook ads and follow up as a way for you to not use the other tools. Because, for example, with Gordon here, right? So let's just go in here just super, super quickly. Because if I go to, so usually with Gordon, we're doing just listed, active, or open house.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, in his post, he didn't mention about doing open houses. He does open houses every week, and he is getting buyers and sellers from the open houses as well. And we're marketing those open houses with listings to leads. So, but that may not be coming through in this conversation, but, getting those tools to the seller, using the nearby homeowner letter or postcard, for an open house though, right? We're going to use a nearby homeowner letter. All right. Getting that email to your database,
Yeah.
calling your database. All right. We got to call our database. Don't just focus on those leads that are coming in right now, but, use the tools. And we talked about this in our 9 a.m. webinars. All right. So use these, do video. But I tell you what Gordon doesn't do. He doesn't sit there and spend hundreds of dollars on, automated postings or this or that for Instagram. You can do that as a long-term play and you can build that up. But, and you want to use all of these tools in listings to leads. But if you just spend enough money on the Facebook ads and you follow up the way we talk about, you will have, and in fact, if you make sure to watch that video at the link I gave you. Look at this. He was ready to retire. He was literally ready to retire. And in the first month that we were working together, I could tell he was going to retire. I mean, he was not in a good, I'm not, let me just, he was not overly thrilled about things. All right. But as that pipeline grew, as he had more conversations, man, that spark in his eyes and that smile that he's got a great smile, and that smile came back, and you can just see, just like he says right here, right? You know, go all in, right? Don't keep screwing around with your little, let me try this out, let me try that out, let me try this. No, you don't know. Just do what we're talking about
Yeah.
and start following up. Don't be one of those weirdo agents that's going to be calling me 5 times a day, right? I don't need that. Understand that people are not always in the mood to talk to you. And so, what Gordon, again, for 7 days, one phone call a day, and then he goes into a regular drip, have regular follow up. The listings to leads AI will actually go on for 6 months, but and it will kind of taper off. So it's not going to
Mm,
be, yeah, it's not going to be,
like,
multiple times a day for 6 months. So it'll
yeah.
go a couple of times the first couple of days, and then it will maybe once a day, and then it maybe every couple of days and every 3 or 4 days as it gets further and further out. Um, Someone says, what's the cost of the basic subscription? $95 a month. So if
And
I
that
go,
includes text follow-up already.
yeah.
Just yeah.
And the AI text right now is half off. So it's like $50 a month. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
we've also got Google ads as well. So, but yeah, just go ahead and go to listing so that you can see right here everything that it covers. And there's so much more that we don't even talk about today. But yeah. All right. Listen, I don't want to make this a sales call. Craig Johnson, play for the championship. Don't play for second place. Let's go. Craig, have you been on
Love
the
it.
call the whole time? I would have brought you on, man. I would have had you come on to talk a little bit if you would have told me you were here. But now we're getting off. Next time. We'll bring you on next time. No problem. Yeah. The worst thing is I don't see all the people that are on
Yeah,
unless
I can't
unless
see it either.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think, here's another thing. I think all of us are very competitive. That's why you're in real estate business, because you are competitive. Okay, you're a great salesperson. And when you see other people succeed, and it makes you motivated. And I think we already have an amazing script. We know you can generate lead cost effectively. You can follow up. We have a follow-up system. All you need to do is just, you know what? I'm gonna be all in. Just do it. You're gonna see tremendous success. We've already seen so many amazing success stories. So
yeah.
let's motivate each other and let's just go get it.
Yeah, yeah. Randall, how much in your opinion for a website? I don't know. I mean, that's a super hard question, right? If your broker gives you a dude, the web, you don't even need a website.
Website.
You don't that may not be a popular opinion. You literally don't need a website.
You know, the
What you
agent
need,
website is amazing.
pardon me?
Our agent website.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you can use your custom domain. So you can use, so if you buy
Yeah, you wanna
randallramirez.com, just as an example, right? Or folsomrealestate.com, whatever it is. In your profile, you can register that domain or activate that domain within listings to leads. So here in the profile, I'm gonna show you two things. So number one is get with our support. Don't ask me about it. I don't know how this works exactly, but I can connect whatever domain I own. So Folsom Real Estate, randallramirez.com, whatever it is, right? Add it there, right? It's going to take a little bit. It can take, I've heard, anywhere from a couple of days to a week or so. So once that's active, check this out. Now, what you need to, no, and we got it. If you don't have Lofty or KV Core or something like that, or Sierra, you can use us as a CRM. I mean, it will pass, and we're actually going to be building out even more. But if you've got access to something like Lofty from your broker or Sierra or something else, I would just use that. Just use that. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need another. you don't need all these other email programs, these other video programs. Gordon doesn't do any of it. And he just said, in fact, we talked about like, dude, do you want to get more leads? He goes, no, I don't want more leads. He goes, he goes, I've got the perfect amount of leads coming in. And that's why he said, I don't call them after 7 days because I don't need to. I'm having enough conversations with the leads coming in. And
Mhm.
now, again, if your lead cost is a little bit higher, maybe you go to 150 a week, right? I can't imagine going much above 200. But this could right here, look at that, granitebay.homesoldfast.pro. Now, if I wanted to, that could be a custom domain as well. That could be folsomrealestate.com. And this website, so here's what you need. You need MLS access. So for listing alerts, you need a CRM, right? With listing, I mean, you could use listings to leads if you had to, but a CRM, listings to leads, and MLS access for listing alerts. That's all you need. Everything else is a nice to have. Everything. Makes sense? And even I'll tell you what,
Everything else accessories.
yeah, completely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. Cindy, he does. So he'll do the AI text for, I don't know the Lofty, how that works. Like I said, ours goes for 6
His
months.
emails.
So
Yeah.
the only thing he stops after 7 days is the actual daily call. Now, I didn't ask him, like, will you do a 3-day or every 7 days after that? I would hope he does. I mean, I don't want him to completely disengage from them via the phone. But he said, I got enough leads coming in that after 7 days, I'm on to the next group of people and I'm having enough conversations with people. I'm getting buyers, right? We're not running seller ads, but from the buyers and the open houses, right? We talked about open houses. He's got listings coming up from
Yeah,
doing
he
this.
does email drip.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on the
Right.
email drip campaign.
And Craig, I was mentioning you earlier. I don't know if you're here or not, Craig, but I was telling people how you send ask Craig the question you were asking earlier. When does he stop?
Hey, Craig, I have a question. So when do you send your video text message? You know what I'm saying? To the
No, no, no. Yes, that's right.
yeah.
So Craig, you've got AI text follow-up activated. And then do you send a video text message right away and then turn off like, if you don't mind answering that question, I apologize for putting you on the spot right here. And it's already 6:07. Let's just let Craig answer that, and we'll get out of here after.
Well,
But
we
yeah,
have
Craig,
some really good questions. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, hey,
I have way,
so
way
day
so
three.
much
Oh, interesting. All right.
day 3.
So on day 3, so you let the AI text kind of initiate, and then if they initiate with that, cool. And then on day 3, you'll send a video text message. That's interesting. Thank you for asking that, E, because I would have assumed he was doing it right away.
No, it was not because I tried to do it and there was no response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay, Craig, thank you
Thank
for the clarification on that. Appreciate that. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for joining us. If you got value from this, make sure that you share this with somebody else. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment, right? Do all that great stuff. Find us on YouTube. And yeah, don't forget that video I did in the mastermind group. Craig, do you do open houses? I just did this video based on a comment from Matthew Driscoll yesterday, and I'll just show this to you. We'll end it at that, where about putting that listings to leads 100-point home marketing plan video on the TV, or put it on your YouTube channel. And then when you're doing an open house, bring up, turn on the TV, go to YouTube, your YouTube channel, and then bring that video up and let people just kind of let that play in the background. It's a perfect background video. So, all right. Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fabulous evening. We'll talk to you soon.
you guys. Have a good night.